Well, good morning, everyone. Let's see how we go. Well, marvelous Monday. Good morning to you guys. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Haven't had enough coffee yet, I don't think. Maybe I need to get a bit more coffee into the system, but good to see all of you guys jumping on this morning. Alison, Nicole, Julie, Brendan, Stephen, Laura, Hardick. Good morning. Happy Monday to you, mate. Great to see you guys. Jimmy, fantastic to see everyone on this morning. Wealth Coffee Chat, November the 1st. Pinch and a punch for the first day of the month to you all. Christmas is around the corner. You watch all the Christmas decorations up now after Halloween just happened on the weekend. Anybody have a Halloween party? I had to host about 30 16-year-olds at my place for a Halloween party. Yep, bit of a stressful time, the old 16-year-old parties. We got through, we survived. Anyway, good morning. Plenty of conversation to be had this week or today on Wealth Coffee Chat. For those who are joining potentially maybe for the first time, Jason Witten's my name. If you don't already know, give us a shout out in the chat if you're new. Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're dialing in from. Been chatting with these wonderful people like yourself, for quite a while now on morning coffee chats about the real estate world, about property investing. We have a few sayings around here. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. We need to make sure we're able to go the distance and buy well, never sell. And today's a poignant conversation about some of the media headlines out there in the marketplace. It's over. The market's going to crash 20%. So let's talk about that, Chicken Little, and see if that's really the case. Because for all of us as property investors, we need to make some good decisions. And that means analyzing the information, the data we listen to see what it all means. And do property prices go up? Yes, they do. Do property prices on average go down? Yes, they do. And for many of us, we need to make sure we understand what to pay attention to when it comes to the value in the property price world. The idea that property prices will always go up and you'll never have sort of any downtime is a ludicrous concept, team. And we need to sort of really understand if there is any issues out in the marketplace that we need to sort of analyze. Well, we should analyze those. We should have a bit of a look. We should stress test where we're at, make sure our buffers are in place, make sure our psychology of ownership going long term is rock solid. So that's what I thought I'd jump in and maybe start that discussion today, all of us, if we want to have a bit of a look at it. Because, the idea that property prices would plummet 20%, is that possible? Maybe if there was a bunch of things that would crash into each other and implode. But for me, I just don't see any of the fundamentals having an issue at this point in time. So let's dive into it and have a bit of a chat about this morning. So quick shout out to James Giang, I think that is, and Alina. Good to see you guys. And like I said before, if you're new, chuck a bit of a hello and where you're from in the chat. Great to have you here. So a couple of headlines out there in the world of newspapers, the world of media, and I'm sure there's a gazillion other different versions of these types of headlines floating around. Even 100 basis points. Basis points is the interest rate number. Even 100 basis points increase could see property prices fall as much as 20%. Well, now that's a headline I'm sure that would catch a lot of people's attention. Even a minimal mortgage rate hike combined with higher buffer rate would tip thousands of landlords into financial stress. Thousands. Well, tell me right now in the chat team, how many mortgage holders are in Australia, residential mortgage holders? Anyone know? Chuck that in the chat for me. Hey, morning, Mark, watching from Hobart. Hey, great to see you dialing in from down in Hobart. Great town, Hobart. Like that place. There's Di. Morning, Di. Yang from Sydney. Oh, thanks for joining the first live. There you go. So, what do you reckon, team? How many mortgage holders are there in Australia? Well, there's about 13 million. Let's let the number up the top here. 13 million mortgage holders. And if there was thousands of people going to go into mortgage stress, I don't think that would be a percentage, a number of people that would be one to pay attention to. All right. So for me, these headlines. However, there is things afoot right now where there may be some small, I think not very impactful movements in the interest rates at the moment. And let's have a talk about what that might be, because we all should, as property investors, we all should be in a defensive mode. We all should be making sure we understand what might happen if the sorry, team, does the sound keep dropping out? Does it? Looks all right at my end. Let me just check here. Give me a shout out right now if you can still hear me with the audio. The Wi-Fi's on. The internet's on. Sorry, team. Maybe some technical difficulties in the world of the internet. Give me a shout out now. Let me know if it's back again. All right, Margaret. Looks all fine at my end. So sorry, team. Maybe there's something between me and you that's going on in the world of the internet. All right, you guys are back now, which is cool. So, there's a lot of mortgage holders in Australia, 13 million, matter of fact. And you would be a mortgage holder in one way, shape, or form if you're here today or looking to be. And we wanted to sort of have a look at, well, is this possibility of a 20% drop in prices even possible? Is there any history to that? So let's have a look at some history as we have a look. And in recent times, January 09, let's have a look at the reduction or the negative growth of the marketplace over since 1990. Well, if you have a look here, we've had a few times that the prices have retracted. And if you guys weren't paying attention, I'm sure many of you guys, no good again. Oh, that's bloody annoying, isn't it? Well, I'll keep going, and hopefully it's recorded and you can watch it again. So let's have a look. At the end of the day, history is not a perfect example of the future, but there is some evidence in history that property prices dropping 20%, it hasn't occurred. Even in the worst financial disaster the world had ever seen, the GFC right here, GFC. No, didn't happen. This was the APRA slowdown over here in 2017-18. I'll whack that up a little bit higher. The idea that property prices would plummet 20% is a ludicrous one. Now, for you and me, how do property prices go down? Like, does that apply to the whole marketplace? There's two versions of the world, right? There's versions of the world when we're having a look at how property prices might go down. Two things that we have to have a bit of an understanding of. Number one, would you sell your property for less, 20% less than you purchased the property? All right. So tell me right now, everyone sitting on the call, you've got a property. Think about the properties you own right now. Tell me, anybody on the call right now, do you want to sell the property that you purchased 20% less than what you bought it for? Let me know. Anyone want to sell it 20% less than what they bought it for? Tell me in the chat. Sorry, team. The thing's cutting in and out. But hopefully some of you can stick around. Margaret doesn't want to sell it for 20% less. Why not, Margaret? Why not? Why don't you want to sell it for 20% less? Hell no, says Jimmy. All right, so the idea, no way. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Roz. You would have to be desperate to sell your property for 20% less than you purchased it for. So right now, excuse me, I'll drop my pencil. All right, technical challenges all over the place this morning. Right now, when we do a sensibility check, sort of, you wouldn't sell it if you can still service. Dead right. Okay, so you go, well, okay, will those property prices drop 20%? Well, and the answer is no. 99% of people right there sitting on this call and also out in the marketplace, they can't afford to, nor would they want to, sell their properties for 20% less. On the flip side, will the market be able to buy properties for 20% less? So now, if you look at what's out there, what's being produced, what's being developed, what people have paid for, will there be a supply? Will there be a new supply for properties that are going to be 20% less and then reset the price, the prices? So you think about that. So tell me, do you guys think that the developers or builders or anyone at the moment could now go and reprice the marketplace, reprice the properties, right? 20% less than the average right now. Tell me, is anyone trying to build a property right now? What's going on with the construction prices, team? Tell me right now in the chat. Tell me, are the construction prices getting cheaper? All right. Do we have, do we have an endless supply right now? How's our supply chains? So we've got some issues. You can't deliver it 20% less. Number one, construction materials are up. Number two, labor is up, right? And number three, demand. Well, in reality, it's more like supply is down, right? Supply is down. Oh, that way. So, no, the resources, they're going up. Okay, so how, in which mechanism, what mechanism is going to create this fairy tale or Chicken Little 20% drop? Okay, it's not going to happen like that. Okay, can and will some certain properties be either sold or purchased for 20% less than they might have been sold or purchased before? Yes, the answer is yes. En masse, the answer is no, right? Okay, economically, right now, that doesn't look, there's no evidence anywhere that 20% could happen, all right? So where's the other place that we might see this this thing play out is in the mortgage world, in the finance world, right? So you and I sitting here right now, what do we need to do? What do we need to plan for and organize if there is some increases in interest rates? Well, we need to check out our mortgages, right? So let me see if this is going to work this morning, because all of this stuff, there we go. There's me talking to you, you talking to me. All right, let's go over here. This is what I was wanting for. Now, this is a calculator, obviously. And let's just do this mortgage at $500,000. All right. And let's have a look at the interest rate here, 2.79. Okay. Now, the regular payment, this is a principal and interest payment, principal and interest monthly. Okay. So we just have a look at this. The payment right now at 2.79, $2,052. Okay. it's a comparison rate of 3.02, which means, you've got a little bit of a honeymoon period at the start and then you pay more later on. So let's just cut to the chase here and let's just go to the interest rate and we'll go, all right, well, let's increase that to 3.5%. All right. Did everyone see this over here? Check it out. All right, let's go back. All right, I should have made everyone pay attention. So 2.7%. All right, 2,000. So let's have a look at this number. So this is where we rationalize. This is where we make the rational decisions, team. Rational, okay? All right, a $500,000 mortgage at, straight off the bat right here, 2.7%, okay? Principal and interest, which we haven't even talked about interest only, okay, equals a $2,028 a month, per month payment, okay? So let's have a look at this. Let's take that to 3.5%. Now the payment is $2,246. $2,246. Now, when you do the math on that one, I'll quickly get the calculator so I can get it right. 246 minus the 28 equals 218. Let's divide that by 4. Okay, so that is $54. Oh, sorry, I'm writing on my iPad. There we go. That's $54, team, per week. $54 per week. All right. Yeah, you're dead right, Hayden. You bought properties on a 6% rental yield when rates were 5.5. Yeah, rents have gone up $100. Interest rates have fallen 3%. Hey, you're all good. Now, the smart investors are putting some aside. You guys know this. Buffer. You guys have heard this buffer. And tell me in the chat right now, most of you guys should know this number. How much buffer, which is cash, set aside, either sitting in an offset account or in a savings account, which it shouldn't be. It should be an offset account. So how much buffer set aside per property should you have, gang? Chuck that in the chat for me. Buffer. Okay, buffer. Now, let's say the interest rates did go up a full percent. Okay, 1%. Okay, that's close enough to $54 per. Karen nailed it. It's $5,000 to $10,000. That's it, gang. $5,000. Okay, so check this out. We've got a $54 per week increase in the price of money. Let's even say that went up $100. Okay, up $100. At the end of the day, I guarantee most people who actually own an investment property now can actually afford to pay for that, right? Because if you guys were at mentoring the other night, we talked about this buffer rate. The banks and the lenders have calculated you, the borrower, being able to lend this money at already 5.5%, and they've just increased it to 6%. So you're already there. Plus, you should have a $5,000 buffer sitting aside, okay? And like Hayden said, his rents have gone up $100. So too will your rents go up if your interest rates go up as well, okay? Plus, anything that is an increase, which is on interest, is tax deductible, so you'll get a bit more money back from a tax point of view anyway, so it'll all sort of wash out or balance out in the wash. So really, at the end of the day, team, this $200 a month increase is already priced into the calculations for you getting a loan anyway. On the flip side, you would get a rent increase. Number one, that would probably take a rent increase would take 6 to 12 months to come through. That's what will happen in the market. If interest rates go up, rents will go up, and they're already going up. Number two, your tax deductions would increase as well, only slightly, but you might get yourself back $10 a week from a tax point of view. That makes that 44, right? At the end of the day, your rent's only got to go up, 30, 40 bucks, and this doesn't matter, okay? So for me, the big takeaway here is, will the mechanisms of like, the property prices are going to drop 20%? Well, the first stress test is, is the market under pressure to either produce, or can it produce properties for 20% less, or will people sell for 20% less? The answer is no. Will an increased 1% increase in interest rates affect the market that drastically that property prices would drop? As far as I'm concerned, the answer is no. There may be some fringe people out on the fringes of mortgages that that can't afford things. It confounds me how they got the friggin' mortgage in the first place. If they can't afford a $50 increase, then there must have been something go terribly wrong in the lender and their calculations, because already the lenders are calculating you at almost double the actual cash affordability for you as a borrower. Plus, you should have your buffer in place that would easily last you 12 to 24 months, even if the rent the cost went up $100. We didn't even talk about changing your loan from a principal interest loan to an interest only loan. Let's just quickly do that before we check out. All right, see this $2,246 payment? Just do that. Do that. Check that out, team. It went from $2,246 to $1,346 interest only. And that's why I talk about interest only all the time. What's that, about $600 or $700 back in your pocket? Did you guys see that? Next time I'll talk about principal interest only. I think that makes a lot of sense when it comes to this world of mortgages. Anyway, it was a little bit bitsy this morning. Sorry about the technology and the audio and whatever. Hopefully the conversation makes sense, team. Let me know in the chat if that landed or the idea landed. We need to check the data. We need to check information. And also, you check in on your situation. Can you handle a bit of an increase? Have you got your buffer in place? Do you have access to your equity? Have you made sure you've asked for the rent to go up next time you reset, next time your rents reset? Okay, those things are important. All right, team, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done. You guys be awesome and well. Join me again tomorrow for another chat. I might do the interest only and principal interesting tomorrow. I think that would be a nice conversation line for this week. There you go. Thanks for those who were joined for the first time. There was one or two, which was great. Good to see you guys here. And until next time, you guys take care, be safe, and bye for now. Adios, team.